With the emotional availability and masculinity becoming more and more prevalent in movies, I saw Ken as like a millennial Tyler Durden. He's this
Oh my
guy,
Lord.
like you
Wow.
are Rorschach testing to see how men read him, and you also go through a self-evaluation of what you really want versus perceived wants. And Ryland to me was a similar journey of like the intelligence, the seeking learning, and finding out who you are through the flashbacks. Is there anything you want boys and men to glean from Ryland as they explore this through different ages?
I want to be as good at what I do as you are at what you do. That
Wow.
was nice.
Adored this movie.
Beautifully drawn.
The outfits of Ken.
I will
Tyler.
only disappoint you now with this answer.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandreau with The Real Rejects, sitting down with Lord and Miller themselves. This,
How are you?
I'm so excited. I'm
Likewise.
months waiting to talk about this.
I know.
Years actually since
That's
the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
So the man versus nature and man versus self be damned. I consider adult male friendships being the hardest conflict, and I know that is something we're addressing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you unlock in making this film, whether it's together, because you work so well together, or in seeing Ryland and Rocky that you think is good advice for male friendships?
Well, I mean, we always said that this movie would answer the question, can adult men make friends? And the answer is if the universe depends on it.
Yeah. But I think what's cool about Ryland and Rocky's relationship is that they are super different. They couldn't be more different. They look different. They speak a different language. They come from different cultures. They don't move the same. They have nothing in common, but they do have some things in common, and they have to figure out what those things are and make accommodations for each other and to try and see the world through their point of view. Like where like Ryland like figures out that Rocky can't see, and so he accommodates for that, and Rocky puts oxygen in Ryland's side of the tunnel because he knows he needs that to breathe. They're reaching out to each other and making like saying like I want to help you, you want to help me, and then let's figure this out. And then once they start doing that, they can find their common ground, and then they can really start solving problems.
One of the yeah, exactly. What I love about Ryan's relationship with Sandra Hooler in the movie is she comes in to his classroom and identifies him as somebody who can help, and it's very clear that he is socially so uncomfortable, and he winds up in space, and the only way he can do the mission that he's there for is to make a friend. He has to overcome the social discomfort in order to save it's like the most movie problem of all time.
And the modern conflict of our age.
Totally.
Exactly.
Now, I also love how you in particular love to reinvent yourselves. You love a challenge. You've said this was a challenge that you sought out as directors. What was the most exciting challenge you knew going into it? And what was the most surprising challenge you're proudest to have overcome?
I mean, we knew that it was going to be possible but hard to make you fall in love with a puppet rock with no face, eyes, mouth that speaks in whale song. But we were excited about that challenge because we knew coming from animation, you're like, Pixar can make you feel something for a lamp. Like when something moves, you want to attach like meaning and humanity to it. And then we had all these tools in our toolbox of having an amazing puppet team led by James Ortiz, having an amazing animation team that was like supporting the work that the puppeteers were doing, and then we knew that we also had another secret ace in the hole, which is one of the best actors of our generation, Mr. Ryan Gosling, who makes you believe that this alien is real and something to care about and something to die for. Yeah. And so you have all of those little tools that you're in your arsenal, and everything was working on all cylinders, and it became something that was clear as we were shooting it. Oh, this is going to work.
I would say that your second question, personally speaking, I thought I was like chill and cool and flexible, but this movie and the people that we got to work with on it, starting with Ryan, moving on to James Ortiz, who plays Rocky, and Greg Fraser, who is an amazing cinematographer, but not a perfectionist, right? He's an imperfectionist. And what I learned from all those people is like how that flexibility creates like movie magic. that you had to be, this like challenged me and us as much as possible, as much as anything, that you had to like be ready to embrace something new and a new idea and find a way to make it really work and win for the movie. And it was so every day was so exciting because, you know, we always have a plan, but there was always some fun curveball that like leveled up the movie.
And the secret is you have to prepare a lot so that you can have the freedom to not do exactly what you planned.
Exactly.
We all benefit from you guys challenging yourselves, and this is so special. So thank you, and it shows
thank you so much.
so good. I cannot wait. Next time we'll talk about that frame change. I love how you
Please.
did that. Down to gush about Project Hail Mary. I love this film so very much. I felt the awe of 2001, the whimsy and wonder of Spielberg. It's going to be in conversations with Gravity and Interstellar and the greats. But I wonder when you
Whoa.
make something for this
We
long.
can just stop right there.
I mean, that's the review, guys. That's
You're
it.
good. I'm good.
Wrapped. We loved it. But when you make something this epic and be working on it for this long, does your media diet change? Do you watch and listen to different things while making something of this scope?
Oh, that's interesting. Like, do you sort of stay? Do you tune into what like your character might be?
I didn't get it again.
What's that? The question?
Can
I-
you answer it and then I know what it's
Okay.
about? And then
I think
enjoy it.
Sandra only listens to things that she thinks her character would listen to.
Well, Rocky duo. You're like
Not
the.
true.
It's not true.
No, I'm just German. And
What?
sometimes I can't keep up. Sometimes just can't keep up.
Did you have a soundtrack? Did you have anything you like to plug in to find Ava?
No, I don't do that most
Okay.
of the time. No, I don't like it. It was just, no, we just did everything on set. I didn't prepare. God, I'm giving away all the stuff. We didn't meet before. We didn't have any rehearsals.
Yes.
We just met and we started to play with each other, and it worked. It was a very big
Even
pleasure.
our first day was fun. Right before the director said action, we're just supposed to walk across a parking lot, and Sandra whispered in my ear, "I'll race you to the bike." And we were just supposed to walk to the bike. So suddenly I'm like doing this fast duck walk for no reason, trying to get to the bike first. But it was fun right away.
Yeah,
And it's still fun.
still a competition. Like,
I'm still loving it.
I love all the duos in the film, and I haven't seen this unique of a duo since Lars and the Real Girl with you and Rocky. And I'm sure a lot of people have asked about the challenges of Rocky, but were there any benefits to working with James and the Rockefellers and Rockettes and Rocketeers? Like, were there benefits as an actor to have that unique experience?
I don't think this movie is what it is, or as emotional as it is, or funny if Rocky wasn't really there. You know, I mean, it would have been much easier to put a tennis ball there and say the lines and do it later in CGI, but it was quite an ordeal he's quite the diva. He has very high maintenance. He has his Rocketeers that are with him, and we had to cut holes in the set so that it was a lot, but that's the story. The story is that it's hard. He's an alien and lives in a different atmosphere and speaks a different language, and that's how they connect. They connect through problem solving. And so we just tried to channel that. And I think that sort of was the lightning in a bottle of the film.
It's such a unique bond, and your relationship with everyone in the movie is so special because you've got to be removed from some emotions when you're front facing, but there's also this thing where everyone wants to impress you. Like watching the movie, I was like, I need to not disappoint her.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone
I feel that way
you-
right now.
Like right, even in this,
Right?
there's like this
You're just
energy.
like-
Was that based on anyone, or is that just how you operate in the world?
I don't like to disappoint people, that's for sure. But as I grow older, it gets easier, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. But but in this case, because it is so important to solve this problem, I think, I wanted to have her like a natural authority, like a like a Morgan Freeman natural authority.
Oh, nice.
Kind of
Yeah.
what I wanted to do, which is like
Now
really
there's
crazy
so
for
much
somebody
Friedman in what you did.
for someone who's coming
Now that you say it,
from the GDR. But whatever.
it's Friedman all over that.
I got the comp. I got
so-
the like. I see where it is now.
But you know what I mean? I really wanted her to be very serious. And I think with a little training, I managed to be very serious most of the time, right?
Now all I see is Friedman.
Even right here. Emotional availability and masculinity is this beautiful
Why
thing
did
we're
I
getting in
say
film now, and I see
That's a great. What's
see it.
What's better than that's amazing.
that's like the TikTok. That's the soundbite. With emotional availability and masculinity becoming more and more prevalent in movies, I saw Ken as like a millennial Tyler Durden. He's this guy.
Oh my lord.
Like you
Wow.
are Rorschach testing to see how men read them, and you also go through a self-evaluation of what you really want versus perceived wants. And Ryland to me was a similar journey of like the intelligence, the seeking learning, and finding out who you are through the flashbacks. Is there anything you want boys and men to glean from Ryland as they explore this through different ages?
I want to be as good at what I do as you are at what you do. That
Wow.
was nice.
Adored this movie.
Beautifully drawn.
The outfits of King.
I will only disappoint you now with this answer. I'm going to be a little more general, I guess, because I do think what I found so moving about the film is that even though it's all of these things, it's ultimately just a reminder of what we're capable of as human beings, and that we do hard things. We human beings make impossible things possible. It's like kind of our thing. And I thought at the heart of that was like it's a really nice reminder, and it's sort of like at the center of what Andy does.
And you feel it. And there's this karaoke scene where you feel everything shift and change, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes in a movie that's so big, that's so contained. And I find that using in film karaoke is this great character evolution or trajectory change that's used pretty well, but this is my favorite one. And in that scene, it's like a surprise.
We're talking about the karaoke scene?
The karaoke scene.
I'm glad.
It's
Glad we're
so
talking about
special.
that. So special.
But it's like a reveal.
It was Sandra's idea
Oh,
to sing that song.
And was it like live to tape? Because your voice is incredible.
Yes.
I'm still thinking about this.
Of all the songs,
question.
we gave her so many songs, and she was like, none of that.
No, I
I don't want any of
able
those.
to-
I'm going to sing Harry Styles, Sign of the Times,
And
and it's
change
going to
it.
be the anthem of your movie. You're welcome.
Favorite scene, and that's saying a lot.
Thank
now
you.
that scene, it's like a reveal of a skill that you have that we might not expect you to have. Do either of you have a skill that might surprise people?
Well, that
I can.
I can knit like you can't believe. I just can't cast on or off, but I can once I'm in
I
there.
believe you can. I
Once
believe
I'm
you
in
can
there,
do that.
like Rocky.
Is that a pandemic pickup or life?
No, it was Lars and the Real Girl.
Yeah.
I did a scene with all these women that were knitting, and we spent all day, and they taught me, and it was it's very
I love.
cowboys used to knit on their horse. So
Yeah, you need it in life.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
well, Sandra can sing, so that's one thing. I heard her voice down the hallway, and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Angelic. It was a really beautiful moment. Any others that haven't been revealed in film?
I love to race my brother in a go-kart race.
I could see
I
that.
see that for the character in you. It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for this
F1
film.
too. You and Brad Pitt, just like
That ties in how
Yeah.
you guys met too,
I'll
to
be the
chase the
car.
race.
see
Yeah.
you, Brad.
This is such a special movie, like revelatory.
Eat my dust.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. I love your work, man. You are one of my all-time favorite writers, and Cabin in the Woods is my favorite horror film of all time.
Let's go.
The meta-modernist sensibilities of Cabin in the Woods, I always felt like were so akin to what Chris and Phil do so well with that meta-modernist tone. Have you known Lord and Miller long, and has this been percolating for a while?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought up Cabin, because the way I met Chris and Phil, because we both started in TV. They were sort of on the comedy side. I was on the drama side. But I think after Cabin, they were starting work on the Lego movie. And they said, let's sit down because we'd love to talk to you about, we're trying to do something like that, right? In the Lego world, the sort of a deconstruction. And I was like, great, let's do this. And so we met back whenever that was. And so I think we've known each other 2 decades now. Like we just
Wow.
clearly, we worship at the same altars. Like we're not afraid. The thing that unites us is we're not afraid to take big swings and work in genres that are impossible to define. And so there's been a love affair and for a long time. And so this movie was like the perfect opportunity to bring our mad sensibilities together.
Yeah, there's such a similar tone, which is hard to articulate what that tone is, which is a beautiful thing to see happen.
Yes,
And
that's right.
your filmography is insane. Like, you reinvented nerddom a few times, between Buffy and Angel changing nerddom, then Cloverfield and Lost changing nerddom, but then World War Z, El Royale, and Daredevil as this crazy run. They're all so different.
Yeah,
Does this scratch a different itch than that insane run because it's a different type of heady?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that I would have known that had you not just laid it out like that, but it sounds right. They do all kind of go together. I think you would put this in a different phase. I do feel like it's a more mature work. And in some ways it's a more childlike work too. Like there's an open childlike side of this movie that has been fun to get back in touch with. But it's also, it's just more ambitious. This movie is the most ambitious movie I've ever been on,
Yeah.
both in the scope and scale, but also in the emotional complexity that we're trying to sort of wallow in. It's really, I think for Chris and Phil and I, we were all sort of jumping without a net. We took our safety nets of what we do away from us and said like, yeah, this movie's going to be really hard. Like we've been working on this movie for 6 years.
Wow.
Like, it's just like, oh, this is like but it's going to be worth it. I think the themes that were at the core of Project Hail Mary spoke to what we were experiencing in our life at this point in our lives.
The awe and wonder is so unique to any film, but especially something that's able to feel so human, like the scope and the contraction. Was that something that was like on set day to day where you were navigating, like finding the groundedness? Or once the script was handed in, did you feel like we have the pages, let's...
No, I mean, honestly, we have not stopped changing things till 3 weeks ago when they forced us to stop. Like, it was this living, breathing organism. I mean, I think my job, for starters, was to give us a skeleton that we could build around and play around. But a lot of the skeleton was an emotional core of it's about the emotional core of Rocky and Grace, so that we could take that skeleton and then have fun within all of the things you're describing and keep changing, keep making it better, keep going. Like, that was part of the point of the movie, on screen and off.
It was a movie where I had to let credits roll to experience. Like, I was in awe to the point of like, I have so many emotions, I need to filter them.
Oh, that's so nice
special.
to hear. That's so nice to hear.
I have one selfish question I've wanted to ask you for
Yes.
over 12 years. I literally read comics for a living. I'm DC's comic correspondent.
Yes.
I have all but 16 Spider-Man comics in the world, every run, every title, everything ever.
True?
I have 16,000 Spidey and X-Men. I'm almost complete since 1964.
Okay.
I've wanted to
Amazing.
know
I'm so excited for this question.
any bit of what the Sinister Six idea was to be.
Great.
Anything you can say.
Okay, yes, I will say it, because who cares? I wanted it to feel like a summer annual, because I feel like I'm tired. I'm tired of serialization in comic book movies. I get the important part, but I was like, what I loved was the summer annual, where you had the ongoing, but then every summer you would get one story that was bananas.
Yeah.
Right? That was just bananas.
3 times the price, worth it.
Yes, that's right. And I said when I pitched it, I was like, no, give me, I'm not going to screw up anyone's continuity, but I want to feel like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, that was the feeling that I want to get. I still haven't seen anyone capture that.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving up. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
I've been waiting
Because I'm
years.
not giving up. I got to get a summer annual.
And I
That's
heard the
great.
villain perspective was the goal versus protagonist. Like,
Well, yeah, and it was a Spider-Man movie. That's the other thing I'll
Yeah.
tell you. It was a Spider-Man was in the movie. Like, but it was a different approach.
one day, man. And
Yeah, thank
in a
you.
multiverse, I look forward to seeing it. I love your work, and thank you for being a real nerd.
This was a joy.
Really appreciate
Hopefully
it.
we get to do it again.
Like sitting down with the man himself, Andy Weir. Absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Sorry
This-
about a
Oh, not at all.
situation here. Sorry.
We're proper.
And
We're
like
ready.
Boomer is like,
You moved that 3 times. What's happening? So this is such a beautiful act of full creation. The details, the culture, the atmosphere, the science. There's so much that is so detail oriented in this book, and then the movie makes it feel so lived in. How do you know when you're done? So when you pass it off to be adapted, you have an answer for every question. Do you ever feel like it's complete?
yeah. Honestly, I do. I'm not an artiste. You know, when I'm done, I think it's done. I'm a big, like, one of my hobbies is woodworking, and you need to accept that not everything's going to be perfect. There's always going to be this little blotch or a little slightly missed cut or something like that. And it doesn't matter. After a while, you say, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it. And, there's not a single work out there that's perfect. So whatever problems may exist are part of the character.
The level of detail is staggering. And I saw you with the kids this morning, introducing them to Rocky. Every question they had, it was just, these are the facts. This is what it was.
This is
Beautiful
how it
to
is.
see.
Well, what's funny is one of the kids asked, like, how did Rocky get to Earth? And I was like, well, he didn't go to Earth. He met in the town. And Ryan was like, I think they meant, how is Rocky here right now? And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, right.
Imagination, contact.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan.
The movie Star Training came in so well. Yeah. No, in that same vein, optimistic sci-fi feels so much more rare than it did in, say, the 80s. And
Yeah.
the world feels darker because I think we are encouraging negativity with the internet, especially the way things go. How do you keep that edge sharpened so you stay optimistic in this era?
Well, it's not hard because I am optimistic. That's my personality. I have and have always had a very high opinion of humanity. I think we're functionally good. And I think you see bad stuff in the news, but it's in the news because it's really unusual for people to do bad things to each other.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. And so, I don't have to work to maintain that attitude. It's a core aspect of my personality, I suppose.
As an optimist, thank you. That's really
Yeah, thank
beautiful.
you.
I love that news element. Now, seeing your mind's eye creation must be insane, especially to this scale and with the Martian and the broad strokes, but to see a character like Rocky who's whole cloth from your mind and then meeting the physical puppet, what's that like for the act of creation to be tangible for you?
Well, it's interesting because I don't have a very visual imagination. I'm more toward the gray blob scale on the aphantasia scale. I'm not completely aphantasic, but I don't see things very clearly or crisply in my imagination. When I finished the book, I couldn't have told you what color Ryland's hair was. You know, that sort of stuff. Things tend to be black and white or grayscale or whatever, and vague, very, very vague. And so Rocky, I knew his general morphology, like I could describe him to you, but I didn't have a firm image in my mind of what he looked like. So once I saw the puppet, that became canon. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know what Rocky looks like. Now I know. Wow. And then and the same with like seeing, you know, Ryan in costume. Then I'm like, oh, so that's what Ryland looks like. Now I know. And so it becomes retroactively canon. So I'm very lucky, I guess, in that I don't get that cognitive dissonance that other writers have in reconciling their own vision of it versus what's on screen, because I didn't have anything very tangible in my mind to start with.
The comic artist, your comic writer, you get to meet that and experience it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, except for even the comic writer probably sees things in their head much better than I do.
It's really interesting because it's such a visual book, and it's really cool to know that that's like so flowing for you. And Ryland, the synchronicity, I've always wanted to know. You have an Ava and a Ryland, and then Ava Mendez's husband, Ryan Gosling.
That's just... I mean, obviously, I wrote the book well before, so that's just
the synchronicity of that. Yeah. But of the actual casting.
Also, Ryland and Ava in the book are not lovers.
Certainly not that family built of
certainly not in as good a shape as Ryan and Ava are in real life.
Adorable whole family notwithstanding.
Yes.
But when that cast was coming together, like that immediacy of Ryan Gosling being perfect for Ryland and a different Ava, what was it like to see?
And having the same initials, RG, you know.
It's insane. It's so specific.
Works well.
That casting, did that feel immediately right?
Yeah, of course. Ryan Gosling is like a top tier actor and an incredible actor too. I was talking with a friend of mine earlier today, and I don't know if you play Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. We said it like Ryan Gosling does not have a dump stat. Like he's just got high numbers across the board.
Yeah,
and he's just good at everything,
and it shows here, man.
He's also a good writer. He comes up with clever stuff, and we're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And
it shows. It's a magical film. Thank you so much for your work. I loved it. Thank you.
Great talking to you.